Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to day 28 of Ink Journal's challenge that I'm participating in, 30 inks, 30 days. Today's color is J Herbin Rouge Grenat, which I believe means dark red, but please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I kind of cued it in and tried to get a little help on the translation there. So let's dive right into the water here, first of all, with the sample. Here's the on Rhodia dot grid, and we'll put it right into the bath so we can see what happens to that. Oh my, that's pretty. It's lifting a lot of red right out of there. Ooh, pretty, pretty. I hope you could see that. Nice. Okay, and from yesterday, Noodler's 54th Mass was indestructible. I mean, you can even still see the exact... I remember that I needed to dip my pen, because I'm using that hybrid fountain pen dip pen, and you see how it's faded, and then it's darker. Well, that's exactly how it went into the water, so you can address your envelopes with Noodler's 54th Mass, and it's a beautiful ink, too. But I wanted to just show you that to update. So here it is on here. Now, there's a combination light, and we're pretty close. We're pretty close. Let me hold this back up and see what... Yeah, it's probably, to my eye, a little deeper. Just a little bit, though. And I think we're going to see, before we're through, a pretty accurate variety of how the ink looks on the paper. So this is the Rhodia Gold Book, and here it is down here in the right-hand corner. It's beautiful. It flows really nicely. I like this ink a lot, just for the quality, just for the way it feels out of the pen. It's just nice and smooth. Here it is on that little Tomoe River paper there, and you see a lot of shading there. And you see quite a bit of shading throughout the writing, too. You know, at least your eye does, and hopefully you could see some of that. So I found that, okay, when I went online this morning, Goulet Pens was doing some kind of a quarterly inventory, so I couldn't figure out whether they carried it, you know, and then I haven't been back on there again, but I'm pretty sure they do. But Jet Pens had it for $12 for a 30 milliliter bottle, so that kind of gives us a starting point, and you have your favorite places, I'm sure, to order. So my first impressions, it's really beautiful, and it reminds me of Victorian colors, like Christmas colors. Like my mom likes that kind of thing, and she has sent me different older kind of beautiful replicas or reproductions of older cards and things. I like it very much. So, and it's just excellent. But let's go ahead and see specifically on different types of paper how it did. Okay, so here we have the Cafe Note. Oh my, it's not all disappearing, but a lot of reds going into that bath water. So this is the Nanami Paper Company Cafe Note. And I did notice that it's quite dark on here. In fact, this looks like Noodler's Antietam in a way when it dries on this particular paper. But it's not like that on everything. So it's very interesting how that did. And I'm doing great, feeling really good on my intermittent fast and low carb. Kind of having just fewer of those leg cramps. And definitely, I got my weight below 160 for the first time in a long time. I'm psyched about that. So, but I like how this shaded. It shaded a little better on some other papers, though, and we'll see that. Just nice overall, just real friendly to write with. But let's look back and see if I can do... Here it is. Okay, here's the Noodler's Antietam back here. And, you know, this has a little different shade. You could probably see that too, but it's so reminiscent. It really reminds me of it. So I thought that was very interesting, and it surprised me, that's all. They're not identical, but that's interesting on this particular paper. So let's see how it did on the other stuff. Okay, here we go. We got the Clairefontaine Triumph envelope, and I'll try to hold that up so you could see. Looked real good on there, in my opinion. And then on the cheap Ampad brand, it's kind of like a Mead brand, but I'm not sure exactly. The same old story, feathered, but not drastically. However, we're seeing only some of the ink stay on that, so that's interesting. For an envelope, you want to be real careful. And then this is the Leuchtturm dot grid right out of the 1917 the bullet journal. So, gosh, my words are sticking. I just, okay, so there it is, and let's turn it over carefully. No bleed through or anything like that. So that's a happy thing. That's a broad nib, so very good. And then on the Clairefontaine, I felt like it did nice shading on here. This is the Clairefontaine spiral notebook, and I liked how it looked. Very much. It holds true to that nice deep burgundy on here without becoming too brown, which is so interesting what it does on the Tomoe River paper, I thought. I mean, this is a learning experience, let's face it. Okay, here's CVS caliber paper. My favorite of the papers to try this on, really. And it looks good on there, no problems. Looks pretty. The shading's not quite as dramatic, maybe, but it's there. Okay, and then on Rhodia dot pad, this is the back of the one we've been using all month here. Looks good. Shades, of course there's no bleed through on that. That's, you know, that's great paper. And then I had to take a peek on here. Okay, on the Office Depot College Ruled Notebook, here it is. You know, and it behaves pretty typically. I would be able to write with this in my everyday notebook with the broad nib. I wouldn't mind it because I didn't see anything that bothered me. It tries to bleed through. Here it is right here where my thumb is. Tries to, but it really doesn't. It wouldn't bother me at all. Nothing like those bulletproof ones. And even yesterday's ink bled through a little more. So let's see. We'll take a peek at this and then let's get out some comparisons here, which is, I had quite a few, but some of them aren't quite exactly apples to apples here. But here's the chart that I did last night, and here's the J Herbin Rouge Grenat up here in the corner with cat hair, of course. And then I started to get out some of my other burgundy inks, as you could see. Too bad I didn't put Diamine Burgundy Royale right next to it, because I kind of see some similarities there, and yet it's not exact, of course. It's just a similar ink, I'd say. Keeping in mind, these are just the ones that I have, of course. And then I don't know what possessed me to put Diamine Red Dragon on here. That might be like a control color, you know, so you could kind of see. It's definitely different shade, and you could see how the water reacts with that too differently. Even Noodler's Black Swan and Australian Roses made me get out, you know, it made me get that out to look at it. But this one is quite unique among mine anyway, my samples. So I thought that was pretty neat. Now afterward, this morning, I found this one is in my newer samples, Monteverde Napa Burgundy. Now, this isn't the same paper, but I do find that it's pretty similar. I compared some of my other paper that I do indexes on. So it's just really pretty. I like it. It's a deep burgundy kind of, or to me anyway, that's what I'm seeing. And I think it is sort of like dark red or deep burgundy. Nothing really compared so close that I'd say, oh, you could buy this instead or anything like that. Not that I have, but we have to keep in mind there are just thousands of ink shades out there, so it's pretty interesting. I actually felt like, other than the fact that the underlying colors are different, Diamine Oxblood, when you just look at this part, you know, the base color there, how it appears on the page, that looked pretty similar. And I was surprised by that because that's not my favorite color. I almost feel like I'm going to faint when I look at that, and I'm not really like that. So let's get out one more thing. I started out by just trying to, I finally found this. This is a little notebook I've had a long time. It's a visual journal, and I lost it. I don't ever lose things, so I was really frustrated for a long, long time. And last night I dug and dug until I finally found this. Because I thought this would be really nice to do some little panels on, or you know, to keep some things on that I want to see how it reacts. But so this was my initial thing of trying to figure out, where does this ink compare? I don't know what happened. I guess I was just curious as to what Noodler's Bay State Cranberry was, but that is so out of there. And then Noodler's Summer tanager is an orange, which we're going to visit like on Sunday. So, but anyway, this was interesting, and a lot of these are the same as what I have on the other chart. But I eliminated Diatramenous Blackberry because, well, it just seems so far. This seems so much more purple to me. Oh dear, it's coming out really dark on here. All of them are just looking darker to you probably than they do to me by a little bit. Not too bad. Let's see. And the Mont Blanc Burgundy Red. Let's see. How come that didn't end up on the chart? Huh. Well, that's funny. Because that, you know, it's similar. So, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I guess I was having too much fun with my colors. But this is kind of was my starting point. And then I moved over to this. So this was fun to do, actually, very fun. And I had another one, but it veers off into, this was what we did when we did Kobe Bordeaux number 6. So, you know, there are other ones on here, and many of the same. Those are the same. But I just wanted to see, okay, there's the Mont Blanc Burgundy Red. Right there. Sorry about this. This is like, I hope it's not making anybody dizzy. So it doesn't, it's actually much lighter. That may be why I ended up opting out for putting it on this panel. But as you can see, there's just so many. And there's the Robert Oster Lipstick Red. You see it, you're just not quite getting there, except that Burgundy Royale kind of reminded me. It's just different. Anyway, this is all for, as far as I'm concerned, this portion of it is just fun. I love doing this. I love using my paintbrush. It's real relaxing. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of the day writing with this color very, very much. Yesterday I caught up on letters though. I think I have only one more, and I've written to 2 new pen pals who are also viewers. And you know, with everything that happened last week, I did get behind. So I'm feeling really nice about that, that finally I can, you know, catch up, because it's never like this. I'm never really that far behind. So I just want to show you what's for tomorrow. But before I show you what's for tomorrow, let's drag this back over. And I have one more thing to mention. Okay, so this is kind of like some of the other inks we've seen where you could still read it, but you've lost the color, the basic beauty of the color, and it's just that darker pigment left. So, but we'll see that tomorrow when we look at it. So what I was doing after I got done doing panels, and then this morning why I delayed myself on this video, is because I started with my paintbrush indexing those ones that I showed you the other day on a large panel. So those are on top, and then somewhere here, okay, and then we get to some that I had that, see, I got behind because I really wanted to focus on this series, but we've got so many. I don't want to spoil all the surprise, but so this, I've had to move into this. This is something I found at Walmart after hearing about it from Larry on Larry's channel, Larry's Fountain Pens. That it's like $1.88, and it's a super little indexing system that I've talked about before, but I'm finally run out of my other older, the ones that look like this, I've run out of. Oh, and that was a sad day, so I had to move into here. So these are some of the ones that we'll be doing next, and I'm thinking about organizing how I'm going to go about it. Either, well, anyway, I'm going to do a separate video on that once I've decided. But so there's some really pretty ones coming up. But anyway, this is a good option for anybody looking for something inexpensive to index with, especially if it's just samples and you're not sure how long that sample is going to be, you know, around you. But this is for tomorrow. Gosh, I'm rambling. This is a Rohrer & Klinger Solferino, I think. Okay, and that was new to me from Goulet Pens that I ordered for day 29. Got to make sure and keep myself on track. So we're going into this kind of purpley color. It's nice. And this is what it looked like on the Tomoe River paper with a paintbrush. You know, that's all I could do other than what I have in my pen. It's got a gold sheen. So we'll visit that tomorrow, though. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I've already gone over. So I'll see you tomorrow, and thank you very much for being here. Bye for now.